All right, guys. 21.3 is finally here, and it is a two-parter. I called it. I knew he was going to do that to us.
I didn't think the second part would be a heavy lift, though.
Yeah, I did not see that one coming, but it is
Come
going
on,
to be
Chris.
fun. So, guys, 21.3 and 21.4. We have a lot to go through, and there's a lot of standards on this one. So we're going to try to go through these ones so you guys understand what it is we have to do. But essentially, you have a 15-minute running clock for the first one, 21.3, okay? You're going to do front squats on 15 of them, moving into 30 toes to bar and 15 thrusters. You want to do those as quickly as possible because then you have a minute rest, which comes off your top time, okay? So essentially, it is 13 minutes to do all the work, okay? So you're going to do that, and then you're going to rest. We'll talk about strategies here in a second. Then you rest. You're going to move on after the rest to 15 more front squats, and then moving to 30 chest to bar pull-ups, 15 thrusters. Then you have a 1-minute mandatory rest. Moving on to finally 15 front squats, 30 bar muscle-ups, and 15 thrusters. I told you guys it was going to be a progression like that. I did call that.
Do you know how excited I am as a little person that there is not rowing?
Yes, that is a plus. So before we get into, 20.1.4, let's just go into it. Once the time ends, okay, so once the 15-minute clock ends or you finish, let's say I finish at 10 minutes, that clock starts immediately for the next part, okay? So it's either at the 15 once the caps ends and it starts at the 15:01, or if you finish, as soon as you finish 21.3, you go right into 21.4, which is a complex for 7 minutes of one deadlift, one clean that comes from the ground, moving into one hang clean into one jerk, okay? Now the one things I did read on this is obviously the deadlift, right? And this has to all be unbroken, you can't drop it.
I have a lot of points on this.
The deadlift, and then you go to the clean, touch the ground and go, and it can be either a power cleaner or a squat clean, doesn't matter. Or a split clean, yep. None of us really do that, but it is a choice. Going down to hang clean, so you're gonna come right down into the hang position. You can do power or a squat clean on that as well.
Cannot go past your knees.
Correct.
Cannot go any lower than your knees.
Can't go any lower than the knees. And then in the jerk, it can be a split jerk, a push jerk, but they say before you even press it, the bar has to be in contact with your shoulders. So some of us who have mobility issues, make sure you come in and get those shoulders stretched, because if you're holding the bar when you press, before it touches those shoulders, that won't count.
And do you want to know some other secrets on this? Can still be a strict press or a push press as well. They are also allowed, Brian. So you can do, it's basically a shoulder to overhead, but the thing is if you fail your jerk and come back to your front rack position, you cannot make another attempt, you're already done. So if you fail your jerk, you have to start over, don't waste your time, just drop the bar.
And that one's for load, so you have to set your own bar up on that. But let's move back and we're gonna go through some standards. Barbell for RX weight is 95/65. What did it say for scaled?
For scaled, it is 45 for women, 65 for men. Teenagers is the same as that. Scaled teenagers is just bars, 45 and 35. Masters is 65 and 45 as well, and Masters scaled is the 45, 35, just the bar.
All right, so the caveat here is we have to have a line that comes across from underneath the pull-up bars. So we have to have 8 feet out from the rig where the bar has to be, and the bar cannot cross inside that 8-foot line. So we're gonna have a line from the rig. It doesn't really matter if you're doing this just for fun and for class, you can do it whatever. But for the open standards, if you're doing this to get a score, it has to be 8 feet from underneath the pull-up bar. Okay?
So with that, when we start our workout, you all have to be standing behind your pull-up bar. Okay, we technically would have a tape line under the pull-up bar as well, but I think everybody will know to be behind their pull-up bar. You can face your barbell. At the 3, 2, 1, go, you can then cross over that into that and up to your bar and complete your front squats. During your 1-minute rest, you must retreat behind the pull-up station again and wait there until your minute is up.
Okay, a little interesting. So, toes to bar. It's 30. We've done 50 in a workout before, and I know a lot of people struggled, but that 30 mark was kind of like we all kept going, and then once we hit the 30, the 50 was a hard time. So kind of look back and remember what you did there. It is just one time through. However, you are going to be taxing yourself with the front squats and the thrusters, kind of holding it. But I did see on the front squats, if you were watching the announcement, to kind of give your lats a rest. Somebody was holding the bar like this to kind of turn off those lats and put it more up on the shoulders. That is allowed. I would probably suggest doing that if you can do it. Let's get into that. That is one way.
If it's something that you're like, pretty confident in, do it. For me, it's just gonna draw me forward. It's gonna mess up my core. It's gonna throw off things that I normally do. So I probably won't be doing it.
But it can save your grip.
Yeah.
So bigger sets here, you do want to get through that as quickly as possible. So try to do, if you're doing small sets, get down, go right back up. Don't waste doing multiple kips. Just do what you can. You know what your limitations are, and just try to stick to that. Try to get those short sets. I would say if you know your max set is between 5 and 7, cut it down to quick 3s and just go and hammer them out as quickly as possible. It's better to do that than all of a sudden fail and then go to singles.
And as soon as you start failing reps, go to those singles. Jump down, jump up.
All right. So
on the toes to bar, just if you're jumping up you can't jump up with a bent arm. You have to jump up. Arms have to be hanging, feet off the ground.
we just talked about front squats and thrusters, but when we go to chest to bar pull-ups, this is going to be hard. You can kip. Any variation is allowed, but the chest has to make contact with the bar. So obviously going a little wider sometimes helps people, but I know that some people try to get those butterflies, and if you are missing, that is a no rep. So you're really going to have to make contact. So for me, I'm not good at butterfly chest to bars, so there will be normal kips. And the same thing there. Try to keep short sets.
You can do switch grip. You can do underhand grip on the chest to bar as well. This I know will help Dave shoulder that's having anything. Also with all of these bar movements, toes to bar, chest to bar, and bar muscle ups, you can either tape the bar or have grips. Can't have both. Not a lot of us worry about that, but just so we know.
No, we're not taping our bars.
Not taping bars.
For the scaled, obviously you'll know your standards, but it's jumping chin over bar, it appears. And I think it's also jumping chin over bars for the muscle ups. If it's masters and scaled. I don't think.
For scaled, it's chin over bar pull-ups, not jumping.
Okay. I saw maybe that was foundations then.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll have all those standards. Make sure you guys read it and then know your standards of what division you're going to do. All right, so then we're going to move into our front squats and then our 30 bar muscle ups and then 15 thrusters. Now, for the bar muscle ups, I know that they say that you can't touch any part of the bar on the way up with any part of your arm, so you can't chicken wing it and then try to pull up, so that would be a no rep. And then at the top, some people I know have rested and take their arms off to shake it out. You can't do that as well.
You can stay up there as long as your hands remain on the bar.
Yep, can't take any part of your hands off, and like I said, no other part other than your hands can touch the bar. And then obviously at the top, you can get you can come down and rest, but your hands can't come off. Okay. All right. Do you got anything else for that?
Yeah, so just a few things for those who are judging. Please watch this video. Those are helping each other, especially if you have someone who is actually logging their score for the open, because these are important standards. A couple important standards. You must note the time after this thruster and this thruster, because if they do not make it through the rest of the workout, their last completed set of thrusters is their tie break time. A lot of you guys have been messing that up. So make sure that we have a tie break time there. As well as whenever they finish their workout completely, like Dave said, if I finish at 8:33 like Sam Briggs did today, I have till 15:33 to finish my complex. Okay? I highly suggest you take a couple minutes to rest and recuperate. No one else can touch your bar. No one else can move it if it rolls around. For those who are doing the open, if it moves into that 8-foot section, you as the athlete have to put it back outside of that 8-foot section. You have to load your own bar, make sure your clips are on there. If there's no clips, the lift doesn't count. At the end, the only thing that we're still contemplating, and I was reading through, is what this counts if you start the complex before the end of the time. So that was what I was looking for.
All right, well, we'll notify you guys tomorrow on that. I believe it is. There's nothing in there from a competition standpoint. I believe as long as the bar is off the ground before the time ends, it'll count. All right, good luck. We had an audience.